It was me. I did this. I'm an uneducated white male, part of the most influential voting bloc there is, part of a group that can do and say whatever they please, and get rewarded for it. I want to start off by telling you that I don't have a party that I'm loyal to. I don't vote Republican. I don't vote Democrat. In fact, I'm not in America. But if I was in America, I would vote for who most closely aligns with me as a person and the values that I believe in. I won't wear the team colors just because that's who my parents voted for, or because it's who I voted for in the past. And that's because I can think for myself. If a candidate does or says things that I do not agree with, I won't vote for them. I will vote in my best interests and the best interests of the people as a whole. But just because I'm not in America doesn't mean that this election result doesn't affect me. It affects all of us because America's put itself as a global leader. So what they do and say matters. And when one party runs their whole campaign based on racial tension, homophobia, transphobia, that trickles out. The rest of the world hears this, and it matters. What America does with its Supreme Court decisions, such as women's reproductive rights, that message gets heard around the world, and it only emboldens others to try and do the same. But probably the biggest way that it will affect us is if you have a look around the world where America has its military bases, there's not a lot that we can do to push back. If America does something that we don't like, too bad. Now, I kind of touched on this before, but there's no rules anymore, especially if you're a white, uneducated male. I can say whatever I want to say, and nobody can really stop me. I can get whatever message I want out there that could potentially harm somebody else, and I'm not going to be held accountable for what I say. And the more I double down on the message, the more I seem to get away with it. I don't have to prove what I'm saying is true. I can just say it. And if I say it again, that's me proving that it's right. It's really strange to me because I've always been someone that is hypercritical of myself. I can believe something is true, 99%, I'm almost certain, but I won't say it just in case I'm wrong. But all I've seen over the past 4 years especially is people just saying whatever they feel, and no matter how many people tell them that's not true, or how many people question their evidence, doesn't do anything to stop the narrative. Even though I know with 100% certainty that they are wrong, there's that little voice in my head saying, well, if they're still saying it, if they still believe it, is it me that's wrong? There's got to be more to it than I can understand, because we've just watched Trump get re-elected and won via the popular vote as well as the electoral college. I didn't think that was possible, that more than half of the people that voted in 2024, despite all the evidence that suggests that Trump is not fit for office, there are more people that think he is than people like me who think that he's not. And that blows my mind. Truth doesn't win elections anymore. Policies don't matter anymore. It feels like if you can make politics more like a TV show, then people want to watch it. People want to vote for you. Politics is the one thing we don't need to be reality TV. There's a saying I've heard a lot lately, and it's that facts don't care about your feelings. I think it's the other way around. Your feelings don't care about facts anymore. If you want to say that they're eating the dogs, they're eating the cats, go for it. No one's going to stop you. No one's going to care. He was fact-checked live during that debate. Yet go to his rallies and you ask people, they believe it. It's clearly not true, but if it comes out of certain people's mouths, it doesn't matter. Feelings don't care about facts. When the votes were being counted, I was resigned to this feeling of apathy. I became, for the first time in years, quite numb. I didn't care anymore. I accepted that this is what the people voted for. I figured there has to be something that I'm not seeing. There has to be a reason why more people want Trump in than people that don't. So again, am I wrong? And I am 100% aware that I have a bias. I'm 100% aware that I have blind spots. So I'll question everything. I've tried to understand it, but I don't. It's been a week now and I want to stand up and fight. And I guess this channel is my way of doing that. It's my way of saying, I'm not going to accept this. None of us should have to accept this. The next 4 years are pretty scary, and that's just the first 4 of what could potentially be a lot more very difficult years. Now, people are going to say that he's been in before, and they can point to that and say nothing terrible happened. I would beg to differ, of course. I think it was a disaster. There's at least 500,000 deaths from COVID that are on Trump's hands because it was inconvenient for his presidency, so he wanted to ignore it. And that's not even accounting for the fact that he just threw out the pandemic playbook and the pandemic response team that was assembled for him. And if that's what happened when Trump was president, under the watchful eye of actual politicians that were helping to keep him under control, then what happens this time around when he's loaded his cabinet with incompetent followers that are just echoing what he says because it wins votes? And what you've got to really think about this time is Trump doesn't need you anymore. You can't vote him in again. He has no reason to do anything to benefit you, because we know that Trump doesn't do anything to benefit somebody else over himself. The only thing that helps me sleep at night is the fact that I believe he is so fragile that he still wants you to adore him. He wants you to love him because his daddy didn't love him, so he needs you to love him. And if I'm right about that, then we can get through this. But if I'm wrong, this is about as scary gets. Thanks for watching. I'll be back with some more thoughts another time, and I'll see you then.